Hey, Kenny, how much F1 do you watch? Like, how much do you watch it through the week?
You want to hear something crazy? That for being an athlete, I don't really watch too many sports. Okay. I know it sounds gnarly, but I'm actually this year, for the first time ever, actually going to the Formula One race in Miami. And I'm also going to MotoGP, which I've never been to actual MotoGP as well, in Austin after Seattle. So that's what I'm attacking this year.
Enjoy MotoGP. It's so fun. Austin, especially, like, to walk Coda is sick. The reason I ask why is because this year is the first year in a few years that they did away with this championship bonus point. If you did the fastest lap in the Sunday feature race, you got a championship bonus point. And you, as a guy that can do some heaters and is in the championship fight, how interesting of a dynamic would that be in our series? Like, you'd have to do it in the main event.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I mean, I don't know. It's just, if it's not in the talks, I haven't really thought about it. I mean, why not, in a sense? Like, it'd be nice to find different ways, I guess, to accumulate some points, right? Because right now it's always just main event, main event, main event. So, yeah, it's not a terrible idea. Having said that, though, in general, like, especially, I was about to say if you're fastest qualifier, you should get some points too, but that may not be so good for me at the moment because I don't have very many.
But that's, kind of what it is, though. We know you're so good at throwing down the fast lap, and this is what I really was excited to talk to you about, because the pressure of, like, how do you throw out a heater on lap 6 in the main event, or 13, or 18, and it's the fastest one? Like, how does that feel?
I mean, it feels great, and the crazy part is sometimes you can just do your race, not think about anything, and somehow end up with the fastest lap, or be really honed in and it doesn't happen, you know what I mean? I think in general, not really looking for, one fast lap in the main event, but more of steadiness in a sense, you know what I mean? So, but it would be kind of cool to get different, I don't know how to say it, different features would reward you, if that makes sense. Like, if you're fast,
incentives.
Yeah, basically, right now we're only getting points for a main event, but like, it'd be kind of cool. Like, some people are good in heat races. Like, in the past, I've had a lot of heat race wins. It'd be kind of cool to find another way to stay in the game a little bit, or maybe have a little advantage on your side if you feel like that, you're good for one lap or good in a heat race. So.
Mm-hmm. And the dynamic that it adds to just as the year goes on, because you see, like, point here, point there, it really does make a difference, because we think about you in Utah a few years ago, and every point, every lap matters for certain ways contracts are written.
100%. Yeah, we've seen many times that it comes down to close, and especially also, like, let's say out of 17 races, 8 of them you can do that and you have 8 points, and you may have a bad weekend like I had at Indy and you lose 8 points, so that can kind of make up for it and you can kind of cancel some of the bad weekends out.
Okay. Last thing on the lap time deal. Is this something you chart, like, obviously through the week when you're riding, down in Florida, but is that something that you're hanging your hat on all the time, or is it just like, I did it again, whatever?
No, not at all, actually. I don't ever look at my lap times again after the motor or anything like that. I purely go off of feel, I guess, if that makes any sense, right? Like, I mean, yes, we do sprint laps and stuff, but it's really, I just go off of my feeling and how I feel on the bike physically, and just like how well I gel with anything. That's all I care about. I don't really care too much about chasing down that one lap time, because the track goes away, and I could be riding better at the end of the day with a shittier track and maybe have not quite the best lap time there. So it's all feel for me.
Cool. Thanks, Ken. Okay, Cooper, Formula One started these last couple weeks. How much do you watch it?
I don't watch it much at all, to be honest. I just follow on Instagram, or I'll watch the highlights here and there. But I'm a Max guy, so I got second. So, that's about all I know.
Okay. One thing Max was really, really good at in the last couple of years was putting in the fastest lap during the race. And up until this year, there was a championship point attached to that if you finished in the top 10. Is that something you guys would want to see, especially as you've been putting in fast laps in the main events lately?
No, I think it's a waste of time.
Okay.
We drop our gates and we go off at the same time. I get theirs, I guess. If we were single file and that way, but I think for ours, if you go out there and win, then you should get max points.
Okay. How much does the lap time stuff matter to you? Like, I know we've talked about it a little bit more in recent weeks, and it's been a spicy topic for you because you're now throwing it in like, no, Coop is legitimately the fastest guy in the main event. Is that something you hang your hat on heavy, or is it just the other 20 minutes?
I think, I made a career out of not caring about lap times, right? Or letting it phase me too much. I think I saw a stat this week. Actually, I have only 6 pole positions. So yeah, I mean, I don't base my main events off that. Obviously, it's great if it's a great time, or if I did have the fastest time, that's cool. But I don't really care. I think it's always about getting to the checkered flag first, or that's when you're the fastest guy, right?
When with you particularly, it's funny to see where your best laps come. It's never like just in the beginning or just this. Like, you can uncork it at any point in time, and that just speaks to your confidence of the whole 22 minutes.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's just every track's different, right? Some, like the beginning, is crucial to go. Some you got to be strong the whole time. Some the track kind of comes back around, and yeah, obviously I feel like I'm one of the fittest guys in the class, and I've made a career of that. But like you said, this year and last year especially, I feel like my lap times are also able to match the top guys. So it's a balance. It's Supercross, man. You got to have speed and fitness and racecraft and everything. It's a unique sport. So try to be the best we can at all of it.
Thanks, Coop.
Yeah.
All right, Tristan, how much F1 do you watch?
So I'm not going to lie to you. Not a whole lot, but I'm on Instagram and all my social media. I get, like, my algorithm is picked up on F1, so I'm keeping up to date with everything. This guy, Donald, though, my mechanic, he's super into it. Obviously when Hamilton's going to Ferrari or something big, a big change like that, I'm aware of it. But, my Sundays, I need to be watching the F1 more, yeah.
Okay. The big thing that I'm asking everybody about is something that they did away with starting this year, and that was a championship point being awarded if you did the fastest lap in Sunday's feature race. What would you think of watching that as a fan, knowing what the championship dynamic is and all the races that you've watched in Supercross and being a guy out there on the track?
Yeah, that'd be pretty amazing. So just so I'm totally aware of what you just said, you're saying if you qualify fastest, getting a championship point?
If you do the fastest lap, like you are the guy that does the fastest lap of the main event, you get a bonus championship point. So you can finish 7th, 10th, 1st, whatever. You get a championship point.
Yeah, so I think that'd be great. First and foremost, for the fans, you know what I mean? It gives a whole new element of something that you can keep in touch with. And then I think when you look at the championship hunt, typically at the end of the season, you can look back for these top guys and they can say, hey, this race was a wash for me, or I lost it in this race. That 2 points could have been there. Imagine the guys that are like really good on the speed side of things every weekend be able to maybe collect a point or so. That'd be really cool. I think that it will really make it intense, because now the main events, say it's one of those races where they're trying to settle for a second and they're like, hey, I'm not going to go for a win. They may go for speed and just try and get an extra point for, the lap time. Yeah.
Okay. For you as a rider, how important is the lap time when you're doing the time qualifying stuff to seed into the night show and just kind of seeing where you're at stacking up against the guys you race with every week?
Yeah, it's super important. It's a way to track progress. Like, one of the biggest things that I always say is you can, you get a result and it's easy to just write yourself off as, hey, you got this place, you're this place rider, or you missed the main by this, or you're that place rider, or whatever. But when you track off of lap times, I think that's really important. You can track your progress. And a lot of times, thanks to the segment times, I can actually compare where I'm at on a certain part of the track compared to some of these factory riders. And a lot of times I surprise myself. I'll be like, hey, this section I'm actually really close. It's this section that I'm losing a lot of it. So yeah, again, lap times are huge, and I think it's a way that you can keep some momentum on your side, right? Like, hey, I'm riding good, just need to put it all together.
How much do you calculate and chart your lap times during the week when you're riding down in Jacksonville?
Yeah, so for a long time I did not, and this was one of my deficits, I think. But I have a coach now, Brad, with Club 57. He's been tracking all of our lap times. If we do a warm-up, he's probably got us on the stopwatch. And I think it's good because for weekends like this, where it's a Triple Crown, for a privateer like myself, obviously being able to go top 18 straight into the main events, that is the goal. And you have to be comfortable with the speed side of things, because there's so many good riders that are going to be on that bubble, and top guys, you know what I mean, that if you have a bad lap, I mean, it could be the difference of dabbing your foot in a couple corners, missing a rhythm, bad pass in the whoops, or whatever. So I'm really trying to get better about it. And yeah, so to answer your question, a lot of times during the week, almost every moto I do is for sure timed, and I like to relay that information and kind of track it throughout the weeks.
Thanks, Tristan.
Yeah, thanks, man.
How much F1 do you watch?
Say I'm a casual. I like to watch I think it's called quick highlights. So it's not the 25-minute highlights. It's more of like the 8-minute highlights on a Sunday. So, and then I watch it on Instagram, I know where people are finishing, but a casual for sure.
Okay. Up until this year, if you finished in the top 10 in the feature race and you put in the fastest lap time, you got an additional championship point. They went away for this because it didn't work out the way that they thought it would. But I think in our situation, it could work out really, really well.
Yeah.
Because there's quite a few guys that can throw in heaters, and one point here or there could make things really interesting.
Yeah.
What's your thought on that?
Yeah, that's like the sprint race, right?
No, it's just in the race itself. Like just
really?
one more
yeah.
championship
Okay.
point.
Fastest lap in the race gets
In
an
the main
extra
event.
point. Yeah, I mean that's interesting, but I feel like in a 20-minute main, a lot of it's you're sprinting in the beginning and then it's survival at the end. So you're probably not thinking about it till the last couple laps. But man, whatever to make it a little more interesting, I guess that'd be pretty cool.
Okay. As a guy that's done a lot of laps, and you've done a lot of laps at the start compound, how important is the lap time thing for you day to day, week to week?
It's obviously important because you want to be close to the guys you're practicing with, but it can also be a distraction. You know, you can look at it in a negative way and get pissed off when you do have a bad lap time. So, yeah, but obviously we have either our teammates' lap time or ours up on the pit board every lap. So it plays a big part.
Thanks, Christian. All right, Max, how much is your Formula One knowledge? Like, how much do you know? How much do you watch? Are you knowing that it's the China Grand Prix this weekend? Do you know Australia, or are you just...
Nah, I mean, it's just like you see the clips on Instagram reels here and there, so that's about all my knowledge. I'm so invested into my sport and doing what I'm doing that really anything other sport other than dirt bikes I'm not very knowledgeable in. But yeah, I know some of the drivers, and you know, we've played some F1 2025 and 4 whatever the games here and there, but yeah, not great.
Okay, so the reason I asked this is that up until this year, they had this segment in the races that if you did the fastest lap in the race and you finished in the top 10, you got a championship point. Knowing that you're pretty capable of doing a fast lap, knowing that, like, hey man, if this was on the line, would that be something you would be interested in if they added that in the Supercross main event? Would that spice it up for you?
I don't see it to be as a downside. Especially for me, recently my starts have not been great. So if I'm have to come through the pack anyways, I'm already going for hot laps to just try to catch the guys. So yeah, honestly, I don't see a downside to it. Could add something more interesting to the race, and for the fans is always great. And also, I think these triple crowns are good too, because it just, you know, we got more racing to do, and that's just great for everybody.
When you're getting in the groove of a moto and you're able to put together lap after lap after lap, when you go back and look at the lap times, because I know the team's going over them, are you able to be like, oh yeah, I know which one was this one?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even in the race, you'll be midway through and you'll connect the lap good without anyone, you know, in your way or anything like that. You just know it's a good lap. And honestly, I think for me, I focus more on the average lap time. So, you know, because there's always so much chaos that happens in a race, but I always try to look at the average lap time and trying to get my average as close to the, you know, the leaders as I can. So, yeah, I think it's, you know, you definitely know when you're throwing burners, and also just that flow state when it connects all at once. I felt that at Daytona, and I came back from, you know, I feel like 15th to 5th. So I did get lucky with the red flag there, but you definitely know when you're in that flow state and you're clicking off good laps.
I've had this happen my whole life when I was racing. I know a couple of you guys have had it too. Does it almost feel like you can really push after you get the early mistake out in a race and you're just like, all the pressure's gone, I got to go do it now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had so many races in my career where you tip over early or just have a dumb crash, and you just kind of get up mad, but you just ride so much better for no reason. I don't know why it is, but you leave everything off the table, and it's just kind of, you know, full send with your brain off, just going fast. And usually that's when the best riding is right after a small tip over, a mistake that kind of makes you angry. And yeah, it's crazy that we do that so often, but it's crazy how hard it is to get to that level without that little tip over.
Okay, last thing. You've been at club for a bit now. I know they have you guys on a nice rotation of practice tracks. You've ridden a lot of motos on them with a lot of different guys. How important on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is the lap time battle?
For me, during the race season, not as much. I feel like during the off season, that's kind of all you have. So you're trying to push the issue, you're trying to get faster and better, you're trying to push the lap times down and down. During season though, it's you know, the races is such a high level of stress on us and everything that it's really, to me, not as important. Honestly, riding less has seemed to be better during the season. You know, we have so much riding and racing to do during this whole long season. It's easy to get burnt out. So yeah, I've had very minimal riding, just you know, staying up to tune and just trying to hone in on things that I need to work on, which is really the main thing. Thankfully, we got the break to do that. So yeah, just kind of work on your weak points during the race season, and off season's kind of the lap time grinding.
Thanks, Max.
Yeah, no problem.